Welcome every one of you to today's lecture on phonetics and phonology. But today we're going to focus primarily on basic phonological concepts. So I'm giving you a few time now to run into this lecture so that we have a time to um, start together. We have to start together. And yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. We have to start together today. So let's come in. Let's come in. Let's come in. Let's come in. We have a lot to do today, so that we just please kindly confirm if you can hear me. Kindly confirm your audio. If you can hear me, please confirm. Oh, great, great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So today, let's look at some basic phonological concepts and so that we'll be able to uh, a kind of review, of what we have done so far. Don't forget, we have talked about phonetics, we have talked about phonology, we have talked about the basic branches of phonetics, the articulatory, the auditory, the acoustic properties. We have talked about articulation itself, the consonants. We have talked about vowel sounds. We have talked about how to describe those sounds. We have also progressed. We have talked about uh, suprasegmental level of phonology. And at this point, let me tell you that phonological system is actually generally concerned with phonological units. And that's what you must understand. Um, and these units are significant or contrastive, if you like. So they are therefore differentially replaceable with other significant units within a given language. So don't forget. And such units constitute the core of the phonological system. The core of the phonological system. So today, like I said, we'll be looking at some basic phonological concepts. And the first one that we look at today is called complementary distribution. Complementary distribution. What do we mean by complementary distribution? Well, I'm sure many people will understand that by complementary, we mean something that two things that probably benefit. They benefit from each other. Two things that benefit from each other. So, and by complementary distribution, we mean we're actually talking about the structure of phonology. And if you're talking about the structure of phonology, within the phonological structure of English, there are sounds which enter into complementary distribution. And such sounds are normally allophones of phonemes. When I say allophone, what do I mean? Allophone in complementary distributions are those sounds which cannot be replaced by other allophones without bringing about a change in the meaning. The moment you replace them, then the meaning of the word will change. So I say allophones in complementary distribution, excuse me, are those which cannot be replaced. They are those which cannot be replaced, sounds which cannot be replaced by other sounds, other allophones, without bringing about change in the meaning of the word. Without bringing about change in the meaning of the word. So allophones don't result in change in meaning, right? That's why they are called allophones. Or else they will be phoning in that language. So, in other words, sounds in complementary distribution occur in mutually exclusive environments. They have no context in common at all. So once they change, the meaning changes. If we take la sound, the lateral sound, for example, we notice that word initially it is always clear. Clear, the last sound. Word medially and finally, it is usually dark or velarized. It's usually dark or velarized. So normal speaker of English cannot use clear last sound words medially or finally. Just as they cannot use dark, the dark last sounds and word initially. So you notice the dark last sound is usually written with a tilt across the last sound. So to show that it is dark, different from the lateral last sound. And in similar way, we take three words. For example, cats, C-A-T, Kate, K-A-T-E, and court, C-A-U-G-H-T. The cat, C-A-T, the Kate, K-A-T-E, and court, C-A-U-G-H-T. When you look at these three words, we notice that each starts with ka sound. Am I correct? The cat, the Kate, the court. They all start with ka sound. What's ka sound? Describe ka sounds phonologically. Let me hear you. Let me see. Describe ka sound phonetically or phonologically, whichever one. Just put it in the comment section. Ka sound. I'm waiting. Describe ka sounds. Yes, I'm listening. Yeah, describe it. Describe it. Don't just mention it. I taught you how to describe sounds. I work with you. Describe sound, ka sounds. Don't just write ka sounds. You're just putting ka in slash. No, in slashes. Describe it. What you have put in slashes, describe it phonologically. No, I'm not saying you should give me an example. I taught you how to describe consonant sound. Okay. Somebody is saying palatal, alveolar, what? No, you're not correct. Go ahead. You put more trial, put more effort. Put more effort. I'm not expecting an example. Well, so that we don't waste our time. Okay, somebody said very voiceless, velar, plosive. Very good. Very good. That's voiceless, velar, plosive. That's ka sounds. Voiceless, velar, plosive. So, that voiceless, velar, plosive actually starts the three words: the cat, the Kate, and the court. So, we notice that each of those words starts with kasa, which is an allophone of ka. But the ka sound in cat is different from Kate's. If you look at the spelling, one is starting with C, the other one is starting with K, cat, Kate. But both are different from ka in court. The ka in cat, different from cat ka in Kate and different from ka in court. The cat, Kate. Of course, Kate is aspirated. That makes it a variation, a variety of the phoneme ka. So, but the ka in Kate is different from the one in Kate. In cat is different from the one in Kate. The ka in both of them different from the ka in court. But the differences are not significant. I'm sure you know. The ka sound adjusts themselves to the nearby vowel. They adjust themselves to the nearby vowel, and that's why they change. If you look at the cat, you see ah, the short ah, cat. If you look at Kate, what you have is diphthong, a, Kate. So those ka sounds are actually reacting to the nearby vowel sounds. That's why they exhibit a kind of difference from one another. And the one in court, of course, you have court. So you have different vowels sounds in the three words. You have the short a, you have the a, the diphthong, you have the o, the long o. And can you describe o? Vowel sounds. Describe o. The long o. Yes, describe it. Let me see you in the comment section. Describe o. Describe o. I'm waiting. Okay. Describe vowel. The height of the tongue, the position of the tongue, and the length of breath. Okay, maybe because so that we don't waste our time, it is mid back long vowel. It is mid back long vowel. So this is the sense in which ka sounds are allophones of the phoneme k, ka. Allophone of the phoneme. So when you're explaining ka sounds as allophones, you put it in square brackets. And that's phonetic description. You put it in square brackets. But when you're describing the phoneme ka, you put it in slashes because you have moved from the realm of phonetics to the realm of phonology. Phonetically, it will be square brackets. Phonologically, it will be slashes. Don't forget. So the next one we want to look at, the next phonological concept we want to look at is called free variation. Free variation. Free variations. Free as in Free. Variation as in Variation. Free variation. What do we mean by free variation? You see, within phonological system of English, there are contrastive items which may be used not for the purpose of bringing about a change in the meaning of a given word, but with the intention of bringing about a change in the pronunciation. So that's telling you that in free variations, the spelling will not change, the meaning will not change, but the pronunciation may change in a particular phonological environment. Don't worry, I'm going to give you an example. I take that again. I said within a phonological system, within a phonological structure of English, there are actually contrastive items which may be used not for the purpose of bringing about change in the meaning, but for the purpose of bringing about change in the pronunciation. And when this happens, the items within the phonological system are seen to operate within the phonological structure. They are seen to operate within the phonological structure. It won't go beyond that. So, let's look at some examples. Words like embrace, EMBRACE. embrace. I'm sure many of us will pronounce that word as embraced. Embraced. When you have you have ma, you have ba, you have ra, you have a, diphthong. Then you have s. That's alveolar sounds, voiceless alveolar fricative sounds. But some people will pronounce it as embrace, embrace, embrace. The the initial will not come into the pronunciation. So you have two ways of pronouncing that same word. And you notice that when you pronounce it in those two ways, they won't change the meaning. Those pronunciations will not change the meaning of that word. That's exactly what we're talking about. So such two pronunciations are free variations. They are free variation. You are free to vary the pronunciation. That's free variation. When you are free to vary the pronunciation, either of the pronunciation will be correct. Another example under free variation is either. Look at that word. It's either or either. Look at the spelling. E-I. You have E-I-T-H. E-I-T-H-E-R. Yeah. Some people will say either. I'm sure you must have heard that before. Either. Some people will say either. And some people will say either. 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 So, those pronunciations are free variations. The last example I'm going to give you is the word ECO. ECO, N-O, ECONO, MICS. MICS. ECO, NO, MICS. Very correct, Michael. Very correct, Sheyi. Yeah, very correct, Ademola Timileyin. Chiamaka, you're correct. All right. Very good. Very good. You got the spelling. So, what about the pronunciation? How do we pronounce it? Some people will say economics. I'm sure you must have heard before. Economics. Some people will say economics. 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 So some people will say E, some people will say A. So both pronunciations are free variations of that word. It should be noted that free variation is not universal event. It's not a universal event. The way it applies here in Nigeria, that doesn't mean that that's the way it applies in Ukraine. That doesn't mean that's the way it applies in Bangladesh or in Australia or in America or in Canada or United Kingdom. So it's not a universal event. There are many people who stick to pronunciation they had learned from the beginning and who are not easily influenced by speakers around them. So they stick to that one they have known. But every speaker has the capacity to notice when sounds are used in free variation. So don't forget that. Don't forget that. Don't worry, if there are questions, you can be keeping your questions for me. So when I'm done here, I can as well go through them. So what about minima pair? Minima pair. Minima. How do you spell minima? M-N-I, mini. Then mal. Then P-A-I-R-S. Minima pairs. Minima pairs. Let's look at minima pairs. For minima pairs, we see the construction of minima pairs we actually take two different words. In fact, those two words are different in meaning. I want you to be observing those the difference between minima pairs and free variation, for example, now, or complementary distribution, for example. If I asked you that differentiates between minimal pairs and free variation, of course, the first thing that comes to your mind is that free variation is just one word having different pronunciations. And minimal pairs, you have different words sharing the same pronunciation. They are sharing the same pronunciation, not in all phonological environments. I want you to know. It's not in all phonological environments. Let's look at the word, for example, the word pen. Pen. P-E-N. P-E-N. And another word, ten. T-E-N. Pen and ten. You discover that they sound alike, but they are just different. The two words are just different in one phonological environment. One is passant, one is tarsant. Not that one alone. Both passant and tarsant, don't forget, they are plosives. In fact, they are voiceless plosives. But the difference now in the two sounds will be one is alveolar, the other one is bilabial. For pen, the passant is voiceless bilabial plosive. Whereas for the tar sound in ten, you have the voiceless alveolar plosive. One bilabial, the other one alveolar. So we call those two words minimal pairs because they sound alike, but they differ in one phonological environment. What about the words? Another example, you can have you can have right. Look at right. R-I-G-H-T. R-I-G-H-T. Right. Then you have fight. Fight. F-A-I-T. F-A-I-T. When you write those words down, you are just writing alphabets. Transcribe them. When you transcribe right, you have put a slash, you have slash, ra sound, that's alveolar approximant sound. You have I, diphthong. Then you have t, voiceless alveolar plosive. T, voiceless alveolar plosive. Then you close the slash. What about the second one? Fight. In spelling, it is F-A-I-T. But in transcription, you open your slash, you have that voiceless fricative sound, voiceless labiodental fricative. Have you got that? Okay. Then you have I also. Then you have ta. So when you transcribe them, it's until you transcribe those words, you know the area of difference. Until you transcribe them, before you know the area of difference. So you see the area of difference in these two words is the initial position, the ra and the f. That voiced alveolar approximant and voiced, in the other word, you have voiceless labiodental fricative. Voiceless labiodental fricative. So they differ in that initial position in the same phonological environment. What about the sing and king? Sing and king. S-I-N-G and K-I-N-G. S-I-N-G and K-I-N-G. When you transcribe them, I've told you, you must transcribe them before you know the difference. You don't work with alphabet in phonology class, you go with sound. So don't forget. So when you transcribe sing, of course, you have s, that voiceless alveolar fricative. Then you have short e, e. Then you have ng, that voiced velar nasal sound. Voiced velar nasal sound. Sing, voiced velar nasal sound. So for the other word, king, you have the voiceless velar plosive, ka, ka, ka. You have the e, then you have the same voiced velar nasal sound. So you have king, you have sing. So you see the difference now in the initial position. This and the ka sound. This and the ka sound. So I'm sure you understand minimal pairs now. You understand minimal pairs. Of course, I may be asking you to write short notes on allophone, write short notes on phoneme. I'm sure you know that phoneme is broken into allophones. Allophone A, allophone B. That's in complementary distribution. I can ask you to write short note on complementary distribution. I can ask you to write short note on free variations, and you give me examples. I've taught you and I have given you enough examples in this class. You can think of more. I'm sure you have had, for free variation, you have had finance before, and you have had finance and finance, on and on like that. So you have those words, enough example for you to get. Also, I can ask you to write, you give me short notes on, or to write explicitly on minimal pairs. On minimal pairs, then you give me ample examples, enough examples, clear examples to explain minimal pairs. So, and I can lump them together to say differentiates with good examples the difference between free variations and minimal pairs. Between free variations and minimal pairs. Of course, I expect you to write so well, and you write illuminating notes. So summarily, today, we have looked at basic phonological concepts. We have looked at the complementary distribution, the free variation, the minimal pair, and we have talked about allophones and phonemes. Those, don't forget, under the complementary distribution. So in this study, we have seen two separate but related issues in the analysis of sounds. I mean, analysis of sounds in natural language. And you must have noted why it is generally said that phoneme is a family of sounds. Phoneme. A phoneme is a family of sounds. While allophones can be said to be members of that family. Allophones can be said to be members of that family. Phoneme, the name of that family. Allophones, members of that family. So it's like having a node that's having two branches or many branches. Those branches are allophones. Each of those branches will be allophone. Why the node, the family tree, is called phoneme. It's called phoneme. So phoneme is a family name of sounds, while allophones are those sounds that are family members of that phoneme. So allophones are members of phoneme. You have to take note of this position so that you understand and appreciate sound in English language. So if there are questions now, you can ask questions. While you're typing questions, this is also time to type your name, your matric number, your department, your institution. Name, matric number, department, institution. Name, matric number, department, institution. Name, matric number, department, institution. So if there are no questions, then somebody is asking, will there be PDFs? No, no, no. So you avail yourself the opportunity of coming back here to listen over and over again till you get it. Actually, I'm making this platform viable so that even when your examination is a day two, you can always come back here and listen to these lectures again so that they will refresh your brain. They will help you to understand questions in the exam very well. Yeah, I'm waiting, I'm marking time so that I'm going to stop at exactly 1:35. So you're just having just 3 minutes more. So for those 3 minutes, if you have questions, you can ask. I'm waiting for your questions. It's always good to ask questions and clear your mind. So when I used the word natural language, I was expecting somebody to ask, do we have artificial language? Yes, we do have artificial language. I'm sure you know. Now that we're having artificial intelligence, it uses language. And when it uses English language, it's artificial language. It's not natural language. And that's why there are certain expressions that are peculiar to artificial intelligence. There are certain expressions. At times when I look at scripts of students, when I look at your script, especially those people that did some tests for me last week, I was just looking at I was seeing ChatGPT, they were making uses of, at this level, they may not help you to know. They are only replacing your brain for you. So they are good, but they are only good to give you ideas. Develop those ideas yourself. They cannot pronounce for you. When you now start to use AI to read or speak or to contextualize speaking, then it's not real. So we prefer natural language, and that is the purpose of linguistic studies. That's the basic of linguistic studies. Well, on this note, I want to appreciate everyone. If there are no questions, if there are still questions, I may be attending to them later. But for now, I want to say thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, and God bless you. Till next week. Thank you very much.